Hi, namaste. Welcome to hopefully about 30 minutes of yoga. So today you can stop this recording and go and grab these bits and pieces if possible. I'm going to use a ball, but you could use a block if you've got one. And also I've got a couple of belts here, but you don't have to use belts. You can use scarves or ties or just any normal belt, okay? And also the thing with the ball, we're going to do something, we're going to do an exercise with the ball or the block, but again, you can get by without these things. The other thing that would be great is if you're near a wall, because we're going to use the wall as a prop. But if there's no way you can be near a wall and watch the class at the same time, you could use a chair that's really steady, or you could use your couch if you're doing the practice and you're near a couch, or even the edge of your bed. And I'm just going to very quickly demonstrate what we're going to be doing with our feet on the wall. I'm going to use my mirror. Don't use your mirror. That's reinforced class. But I'll demonstrate now so that you kind of have some idea how strong your chair, or if you have to kind of grab a chair like this to use, how strong it needs to be. So this is kind of what we're going to do at the end of the class, but I'm going to have my feet on my mirror. If I had a wall there, obviously I prefer to use the wall than my mirror, but anyway, so that's what all these props are for. Alright, so let's start the class. Come down into either this position, which is constructive rest, or if possible, this position, which is called Baddha-Konasana. Okay. So I'm going to show you also how you can use a blanket as a prop to make Baddha-Konasana a little bit more comfortable. Okay. So if you've tried it and you don't like it and you much prefer doing the constructive rest position, you could always try it this way. So you can see I've got my blanket and it's folded long ways, and I'm going to stick my feet on the top, and I'm going to get the edges of the blanket and put them just at the top of my thighs, and that just takes the pressure off the groin. Okay, so anything will do. Doesn't have to be a blanket, just a long piece of a towel is absolutely fine, for example. So let's just start by checking in. Just notice how your body is feeling right at this particular moment. Just notice where your energy levels are at. Become aware of any tension in your body, any stiffness, any sore muscles, any injuries, anything that you personally need to be mindful of before we begin the class. I just want to take this opportunity to remind you that, yoga is not about stretching. It's definitely not about overstretching and overdoing. We're working towards lengthening our muscles, but we don't want to force. We just want to allow things to relax and lengthen and strengthen gradually. So, even though I can demonstrate some things, my body is different to someone else's body, and if I do these things all the time, obviously I'm going to find them a little bit easier than somebody who doesn't, which is pretty much the same for anything. So just be aware of that. Be aware of your own body, your capabilities, your limitations, and try and work with what you've got. So we're going to take a few slightly longer than normal inhalation breaths. We're going to try and isolate the breath around the abdominal area, and we're going to try and start quite low in the belly Bring the air up into the main part of the belly and just a tiny little bit of air into the lower part of the chest. And we want to try and do this as slowly as we can. Now the exhalation is just a feeling of softness and release. We're not doing this. I don't want you to do that. I just want you to relax and allow your body to soften. Some air will come out, some air will stay in there. It doesn't matter. We don't need to empty the lungs, not for the sake of this exercise. And then complete the exhalation round that you're on. And bring your knees together. If they're not together already, you can get rid of your blanket now. And just start by pressing your toes, your heels, and the soles of your feet nice and firmly into your mat. Be aware of your pubic bone at the front. Lift your pubic bone slightly and feel the back of the body pressing into the mat. Bring your chin in to feel the middle of the back of your head also pressing down. Now if it's more comfortable for your back, you can bring one knee at a time towards your armpits. Just relax in that position for a few seconds. And then when you're ready, hold on to your shins and bring your knees just that little bit closer to your armpits, but without forcing the move. And then create some resistance by pushing your shins into the palms and the palms gently but firmly back into the shins. And then relax, and maybe your knees come just a little bit closer. So we're going to do a fish pose. This is called Matsyasana. This is a variation that's doable. Okay, it's a little bit like a back arch. So broaden across your upper back and press your shoulder blades down into your mat. Make sure your chin is in. Now as you breathe in, we're going to do exactly the same as we did a few moments ago. You feel as if you're trying to lift your belly. You're filling up your belly. And also try and lift your chest and then your collarbone, maybe your throat and even your chin as if towards the ceiling. So what I want you to experience is a sense that your middle spine is lifting away from your mat. There's a little bit of an arch happening in your middle spine and the front of your body is expanding. And then relax. Just allow the back of your body to sink back down. And bring your knees together, bring your arms down by the side, and we're going to give the hips a little bit of a wiggle, so from the left to the right side. So this sequence we're going to be doing a little bit of everything. Alright, so we're aiming to loosen up little bits of everything, but we're going to focus on some exercises maybe that strengthen the spinal muscles. Okay, so that's our focus, and we're also going to do some shoulder stuff as well. So all those bits that get a bit stiff and tight from sitting. And pop your feet onto your mat. Now if you've got your ball or your block or whatever handy, what we're going to do with this one is we're going to put it between our knees or our thighs and we're going to squeeze the ball. So what you notice is when you squeeze the ball, if you take your hands to your inner thighs, you can feel those muscles go nice and firm. However, if you haven't got a ball or a block, and don't roll away, and you have your feet about hip width apart like mine are, lift the pubic bone and squeeze your heels as if towards the center. So it's like you're trying to do this with your feet. You'll feel it's very similar. All right, so you can recreate the same sensation without a ball. Okay, but you know, it can be useful to use something. Don't squeeze too hard, not as if your life depends on it, okay? So squeeze your ball gently so you can feel these thigh muscles working. Lift the pubic bone, bring your chin in. And we're trying not to arch the back when we do this one, okay? So when you're ready, right arm up. Now it doesn't need to be like that, it can be soft. Look to the left side and press the left side of your head into your mat. And then relax, bring the right arm down, swapping it over. So looking to the right, pressing the right side of your head down into your mat. and then bring the left arm down. Let's do a couple more each side. So looking to the left, pressing the left side of your head down, and bringing the arm down. Last one, looking to the right, left arm up, pressing the right side of your head down into your mat, and bring your left arm down. Keep this squeezing happening, pubic bone lifting. So we're going to do an exercise, we're going to incorporate some breathing, and when we do this movement, I want you to try and move your spine joint by joint. So you're not just lifting hips up, okay? And the way we do that is we try and move from the pubic bone, all right? So hopefully you can see in that camera, but do it with me if you can. So we move from the pubic bone, little breath in, and then the hips go up. We're going to bring the arms up as well. So that's generally on the inhalation. Your breathing, just allow it to be natural. Don't worry about it too much, otherwise it's just too much to think about. And then you're going to bring the hips down, vertebra by vertebra, arms go down, chin in, lift up, and if possible, you can bring your thighs in. And as your feet go down, start to lift your pubic bone again, joint by joint, arms up, and arms down, vertebra by vertebra, chin in. Make sense? Don't squeeze your tummy. This will be our last one. And come back down. Get rid of your ball. So, oops. Stay. So grip the mat with your left foot. Make sure your chin is in. And this time take your right leg straight, 10 centimetres off the mat. We're just going to start by just gently lifting that leg up and down. You can see what I'm doing. And so what we do in this one is we're strengthening the knee. You can feel that front thigh is nice and strong. If you've got long arms like me, you can also feel your hamstring is quite soft in this position. So generally what it means is one muscle switches on, the opposing muscle switches off. It's a really good way to gently lengthen or release a muscle, so in this case the hamstring. But as we engage this muscle in front of the thigh, we've got an opportunity to strengthen the knee as well. Now what we're going to do is some one-legged bicycles. So hopefully that's just relaxed your hamstring enough that this doesn't feel quite so strong if those muscles are very tight for you down the back of the leg. Let's go back and take it in the opposite direction when you're ready. Now we're going to go back to that first position, and that was our right leg quite straight but 10 centimetres off the mat. And I'm just going to get you to lift your leg up slowly towards the ceiling. Now the moment you start to feel tension down the back of your leg, just stop, because you don't have to go high. I don't want you to necessarily feel a stretch. Okay, so stop before or just as it starts to feel stretchy, and we're just going to take our right leg very gently over to the opposite side. Just leave it there, move it a little bit. And bring your right thigh to your chest. Flatten your right leg to the ground. I just want you to see the difference. You see how your right leg is a lot longer than the other one. So we haven't done very much, but we've done something already. So let's pop the right foot down. We'll lift the pubic bone first, bring the chin. Take the left leg off the floor, extend into the ball of the left foot. And let's just do some little leg lifts to start with. They're very gentle. Now I'm using my right foot here for stability, and definitely can see my head doesn't look like this. My chin is in. Try not to hold your breath, and if you're a tummy squeezer, don't squeeze. If you squeeze, you can't breathe properly. You know, you're sending all sorts of messages to your nervous system that aren't helpful. When you're ready, let's begin these one-legged bicycles. And let's take it back, opposite direction. Now we're going to go back to that first position. Okay, so that was left leg, 10 centimetres or so off the mat. I'm going to bring the left leg nice and slowly. So when you move quickly, you're going to feel the stretch a lot more quickly because your body is going, oh, I think something dangerous is about to happen. But when you move slowly, you get away with it. All right, and I just want you to get to that position where it just starts to feel stretchy. So, I mean, I can get about here, you might be a little bit lower. Doesn't matter. And again, slowly you're going to take your leg over to the right side. Okay, and we'll just do a little bit of movement with that left leg, just whatever you can do that doesn't feel too intense, too strong, doesn't make you get hot and feel overwhelmed, just enough. And then bring your thigh to your chest and just straighten the left leg, because hopefully your legs are the same length, because that is useful. Now we're going to just come up to our forearms even, not forearms, forearms, whatever I said. So push the shoulders away, because we don't want to sit like this. Push the shoulders down, that gives you a little bit of a stretch in the chest as well. Take your left foot to the floor, and go easy with this one. This is to prep us for the next exercise. So what I'm going to do is bring the right leg up. Now the pose we did earlier, we were doing a crisscross. We're going to do something different. And what we're going to do is just take our leg a little way out to the right side. Now I just want you to remember your leg, I can't speak properly today, your leg might be here, okay? Don't take any notice of what I'm doing if it's not right for you, but this doesn't feel stretchy for me at the moment, but it will in a minute. I just want you to slowly take your leg out to the right. See, that's enough for me. And we're just going to do little circles. Little circles. That's it. And take the leg back. Same thing, but second leg, left leg. So you're lifting your left leg up, slow, and only to that point where you're starting to feel the stretch. All right. And just slightly out to the left side. So we're going into external rotation. Just a little bit, not too much, and little circles if you can. Lovely. And let's come up into sitting. I'm going to try Baddha Konasana. This is the sitting version. This is when the soles of your feet are together. Don't do this if it hurts your knees, all right? Don't do it if it hurts your knees. If it hurts your knees, you do something like that instead. Okay? So, have your feet together if you can. Fingers behind. Push the shoulders down. And maybe, if it feels okay to do this, you lift your sternum, your breastbone, and you work towards pushing your knees a little bit closer to the floor. Now, it took me a long time to be able to do this, by the way, so. And relax. Very good. Now, the poses we did earlier, including the one where we squeeze the ball between the thighs, they're all really good preps to release those inner thigh muscles and kind of give you a little bit more movement in your groin. So let's come into the cat pose, and I'm going to do a little bit of a stretch for the wrists and the hands. I'm going to roll my sleeves up so you can see what I'm doing. So with your right hand first, you want your right hand to kind of be sort of facing towards the center of the mat, just a little bit, so not like that obviously, just what you can manage. Press the palm down, but we're not sinking into the wrist. I want you to round out your back, lift away from the floor, and then take your left hand to sit on top of the right hand, and then you just try and turn your inner right elbow as if towards the center. So I'm going anti-clockwise, in other words. If you can manage it, you just kind of move slightly away. And then relax, give it a little bit of a shake. Try the other hand, the left hand. So again, it's just slightly in towards the center, but not too much. We want to round out the back so we're not sinking into the wrist. Pop the right hand on the left hand and turn your inner elbow, your inner left elbow, as if towards the center. So this time I'm moving clockwise. You can move it back a little bit if you want to. Don't overdo it though, because you don't want to hurt your wrist. And relax, give it a bit of a shake. Now the next one, we're going to stretch out this thumb pad, which gets very, very tight, and it's really useful to stretch this out because I've seen older people where their thumbs are a little bit like that. I don't know if you can see, and it's very, very hard on your hands to kind of have all that tension in the thumb pad. So we're going to take our thumbs to the outer edges of the mat. It's almost like we're doing the splits with the index finger. Can you see that? And then you push the fleshy bit down into the mat, and then I want you to pull your thumbs to the towards the outer edges of the mat, like you're being thumbprinted. You should feel a bit of a stretch in the thumb pad. And then relax, give it a bit of a shake. So hopefully your hands feel a little bit nicer on the mat now. So we're going to make sure that we're distributing the weight evenly, so between all the fingers and the palm without sinking into the bony bit of the wrist. Inner elbows forward, round out the back. And we're going to do chaturanga, which is the low plank, to come down to the mat. You don't have to do this. You can lie on your tummy if you want to. You don't have to do this exercise. I'm going to do it from a cat pose today. I think I've done it in some of the videos. I've demonstrated how to do it from a plank, but I just want to show you how to do it from a cat pose. Now the trick is you come down and you don't arch your back and end up doing this. All right, it's the opposite movement. So you scoop your bottom bones towards the heels of your hands, keep coming down, and then you bring your elbows in so they don't look like chicken wings, because you'll lose your power if they're out there. So elbows in and your chest comes down. Yes, you have to use muscles, but once you start sinking into your lower back, it's actually much harder. So the exercise we're going to do now is a really good exercise to release the forearms, and it's not for the faint-hearted, so again, go easy. Take your left knee out to the left side, push the tailbone down, grab the mat on the left side with the left hand. Now we don't want to be at midnight, but we're just slightly away from midnight. And you roll your right shoulder in. So in other words, it's an internal rotation of your shoulder. You can see how my thumb is on the right side. So what I do then is press the arm down, and I can really feel it. Stretch my fingertips as if towards my ear. Look towards the left side. So that might be enough. It's a pretty intense nerve tensioning exercise. Now some of you might be able to press down into the left hand and imagine that you're trying to lift your chest, but keep pressing your right arm down. You see it's a little bit burn, it's a bit of a burning sensation. So that's super tense muscles, all that typing that we do. And relax. Let's try the second side. So let's take the right knee up to the right side, push the tailbone down, grab the mat. All right, now not midnight, but just slightly away from midnight. All right, slightly up to the side. Roll your shoulder in, so it's an internal rotation. Stretch your fingertips back as if towards your ear. Push the arm down. look at the right hand, which is enough, maybe, but you can add on if you want to. Do it gently, do it slowly. You lift, or you use your right hand as if you were trying to lift your chest off the floor, but keep pressing that left arm down. And relax. And come back. Lying on your tummy. That's pretty intense. This one's pretty intense as well, so I'm going to show you an easier way to do it. If you have an issue with your back, sometimes what you can do is just take your hands so they're sitting under your thighs like this and keep your head on the floor, and maybe your exercise just looks like this. Can you see what my legs are doing? The other alternative is to push the tailbone down and leave your legs on the floor and just do this one. Okay? If you feel like you can manage doing both at the same time, again, not for the faint-hearted, we're going to do 50 of these, provided you're still smiling at the end of it. All right? So when you're ready, it's like swimming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, are you still with me? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, nearly there, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Relax. Relax and allow your body to completely sink. Okay. Now the next exercise we're going to do also, there could be issues if you've got a sore lower back, and I'm going to show you how to keep it really, really simple. And this is why I've got my belts in here, which you may or may not need, okay? But I'm going to show you how to use belts if you need to. So what you can do with your belt is loop. You can see what I'm doing. One foot, and then the other foot. This is if you've got shorter arms and shorter legs. My arms are long and my legs are long comparatively for my height. So in other words, if you couldn't quite reach your feet, this is what your pose might look like. Make sense? Okay. So if you feel like you need to use scarves or belts to be able to hold your feet, you can do that now. But notice how I'm going to hold my feet. I'm not doing it on the outside like that. I'm rolling my shoulders outwards. So not shoulders internally rotated, shoulders externally rotated. Okay. Now what I want you to make sure of is that you're not niggling your lower back here, because ideally all these stretches where we open up the front of the body, they are for stretching the front of the body. They're not for just overarching and niggling your lower back. All right. So what we're going to do here is resistance. So I'm going to push my feet into my hands like I'm trying to get my feet to the floor. You can see my thighs are on the floor. I'm not lifting my thighs up. But as I try and get my feet to the floor and try and pull my feet to my bottom at the same time, my chest is going to lift. And then I'm going to start to feel a really intense stretch across my chest, which is what we're looking for. We're not looking for niggling in the lower back. You'll feel your heart beating faster, because forward bends tend to take us into parasympathetic nervous system activity, and opening the chest like this tends to do the opposite. And relax. Can we do one more? You don't have to if you don't want to. So I'm going to push my feet into my hands, but feel like I'm trying to pull my feet to my bottom at the same time. And my chest will lift. Now what I don't want to do is do something like this, because I'm trying to lift my chest and my chest isn't lifting. So try and keep your chin in so you're not squishing your neck. Breathe gently, face soft. Try not to grimace. And relax. Relax. Give your hips a little bit of a wiggle. Let your shoulders soften. Look to one side if you want to. Now I'm going to do the worm to go back into a kneeling stretching forward position, which is a nice counter for the back arches. So have your hands next to your chest and squeeze your elbows in. And we're trying to avoid doing the cobra. So the cobra is where we lift up like that. We've just done enough of that kind of stuff. So what we want to do is a forward bend, and hopefully you can see in that camera there. I'm going to move my pubic bone up to my chin, so like doing the worm, half push up, cat pose, take your knees wide, and try and bring your bottom as close to your heels as you can. You may not get there, that's okay. But what you want to feel is this kind of stretch in your spine. So you're lengthening your spine. And lifting your bottom, keeping your back rounded, and coming up into standing. So that's quite intense what we've already done. So we're going to do a little bit of swimming with our arms just to prep for the next shoulder stretch that we're going to do. So bend your knees a little bit, and we're going to push the groins forward. So in other words, when I stand up, I'm not in that position, I'm in this position. Okay, don't walk around like that every day. It's just for the sake of the exercise. Okay, so groins forward, arms forward, upper back is a little bit rounded, elbows to the ceiling, armpits to the floor, chin to the throat. And you can follow me. We're just going to loosen up the shoulders a little bit. So one arm on top, opposite arm. Use this as a little bit of a meditation as well. Change it up now, alright? So it's a little bit like swimming. So we've got internal rotation, external, internal, external. This is pretty freestyle, by the way. You don't have to do it exactly like I'm doing it. Let's do a couple more. And then we're going to interlink our hands and push the palms forward. Push the palms forward, push the groins forward. Now I'm going to sink over to the left foot. You can follow me if you want and do that in mirror. And just push that front hip, the opposite hip forward. Take it around to the right side if you're following me, lifting the left shoulder. Back to the first position and over to the opposite side, lifting the right shoulder. Back to the first position, push the groins forward and try and bring your arms up. They don't have to be too high, you don't want your butt sticking out. This is the position I'm doing because I want to lengthen the front of the body and the back of the body. Makes sense? And then from here, sink over to the left foot and bring the right hand down. Stretching the left arm to the right and swapping it over. And bring the left arm up as high as you can comfortably. We're going to do some shoulder stuff now. So really feel like you're lengthening this side body. Now if you can, you take your left hand to just the base of your neck. You can see here. Do what you can. And use the right hand to press on that left elbow and I'm going to do resistance. So in other words, I'm not just going to do this, I'm pushing my elbow into my hand like this. Okay, so it's not just just stretching, I'm resisting. Now if you find this quite hard, because your arms don't go up as high as mine, and it's harder for blokes by the way, because shoulders are broader and just a little bit more stiffer. I'm going to use my sleeves so I don't mark my mirror. You can use a wall. So in other words, you just do something like that. So I'm pushing my elbow into the wall and I'm resisting back. Makes sense? You can always just do it like that. That's why a wall is good. Okay, release and give it a bit of a shake. So it should feel, mine feels a lot different to the other one now. So the other one we're going to do is where you roll your shoulder in, so internal rotation, and you take the arm behind the back. And I want you to know I've got really stiff shoulders as well. I just had a couple of treatments, they feel a lot better. But you know, we've all got our issues, even if it doesn't look like it sometimes. So with this one, I can reach because I've got long arms. I can hold onto my elbow, and then I want to do is the same thing, it's resistance. So I'm going to push my elbow into my hand, and it's like I'm trying to do that, but I'm pushing away. But what you can do is use your trusty wall again. Alright, so if I couldn't do that, which I couldn't a couple of days ago, my shoulders were so stiff, push the arm, I'm using my left arm, into the wall, push the bum forward, and you'll also feel you're getting probably a stretch down the left side of your neck. Alright, so I'm pushing my elbow, my upper arm into the wall, and then give it a bit of a shake. So these two exercises, I'm going to do on the other arm in a minute. It's to build up to this one, which I can do today, but I couldn't do it the other day, so trust me, we're all the same. So let's try the other arm. I'm going to bring the right arm up, reach all the way to the ceiling, because we're trying to lengthen all these muscles that get very, very short. Reach, reach, reach. And take the hand wherever you can take it. Use your left arm this time, or your left hand, and it's resistance. We're pushing the elbow into the hand, and the hand pushes back into the elbow. So push, release, push, and if there is no way you can get your arm up there, it doesn't matter, because you can use your wall. Alright, so it looks like that. So I'm pushing into the wall and pushing away at the same time. That helps. Alright, let's try the opposite movement. You roll your right shoulder in, so it's an internal rotation. Take it behind. If you can do this, that's okay. You can do it that way. And I'll show you. What I'm doing is I'm pushing my elbow, my right elbow to the right, and it's like I'm using my other hand to bring it in. But I've got the wall, so I can push into the wall and push back. It's like I'm trying to go that way, I'm pushing back in. I hope I'm making sense. Do this but don't do that, do this but maybe don't do that. But you should really get a stretch in your neck as well, I can feel that. And relax. Give it a bit of a stretch. Let me see. See, that's much easier for me now. Okay, but if you wanted to practice that one, it's probably not as useful as what we just did, but if you wanted to practice that one with your belt, you can do something like that. Okay. Okay, that's enough torture probably for today. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish up with the exercise that I told you that you needed the wall for, or the chair, or the couch. Alright, now what I'm going to do as well, so many props today, is use my socks because I'm using a mirror and I don't want to get feet marks all over my mirror because I'm not very good at cleaning glass. Okay, so we won't use the wall for this one, but if you wanted to make it a little bit more intense next time after you've learnt the exercise, then obviously you can use the ball as well. This gives you a little bit of extra something. So what we need to do is we want to be on the floor, but maybe about a bum span away from the wall. Alright, so your bottom's not close to the wall, or not super close to the wall, there's a bit of space. Alright, you'll work out what feels comfortable. Again, and with your feet, you'll work out where the best place to have your feet is. So when we come up here, it's the same thing. We don't just lift our hips, we're lifting from the pubic bone. It's like a rolling movement, vertebra by vertebra. Okay, we come up. And the great thing about this exercise is that it's a little bit like a shoulder stand. It's a little bit like a back arch. And it's also a way to strengthen your back and feel like you're having a massage. So it's got everything. Alright, so we come down slowly, vertebra by vertebra. And when you're coming down, you don't want to actually touch the floor. You want to be maybe 5 centimetres or 6 centimetres from your tailbone touching the floor, and then you come up again. So what you might notice is the first couple, they feel fine, and then soon enough you start to feel your muscles working in the lower back. And as I said, you can do a very similar exercise with your feet on couch or bed, as long as you can get a little bit of a grip for your feet, and whatever it is that you've got your feet on is reasonably stable. And that chair was okay, but it wasn't great. It's just an example. How are you going? Feeling it yet? The thing is with moving slowly like this is, well, firstly, you have to move with form when you move slowly. And secondly, it is actually harder. Anyone can move quickly, because when you move quickly, you move with momentum, don't you? But moving slowly takes a little bit more effort. And I'm going to show you a way, this will probably be our last one, but I'm going to show you a way that you could, again, make these exercises a little bit more intense if you wanted to. You wanted to really work on your strength. And that is, you do something like this, one leg. We'll do one more just to even it up. So can you see how if you had your ball or your block squished between your knees like we did earlier, that would make that a little bit more intense as well. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to come all the way down, vertebra by vertebra. And we're just going to bring our knees to our armpits and push the arms into the inner thighs and the inner thighs back into the arms. And then relax, pop your arms down by the side and take your feet to your wall. So this exercise that we're doing now is called Viparita Karani. Viparita Karani is really the name of any inversion, which means an upside down pose. So sometimes a headstand or a shoulder stand, they're called Viparita Karani. But generally when we think of Viparita Karani, it's legs up the wall. This is a really nice way to relax, to calm the nervous system. And just to reverse what normally happens with gravity. We get blood into our pelvis, blood into the belly area. It's very soothing for anyone who either sits in a chair for a lot of the day for part of their job, or who's on their feet, standing. So just relax into your natural breath. You can stay here for as long as you feel comfortable, or as long as you want to. And this is a really, really nice relaxation exercise to incorporate into your routine. So don't feel as if you have to move just because I'm going to finish the practice. I just wanted to say thanks for joining me, and I hope you got something out of that practice, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.